Let's do this. Let's write some equations of parabolas in standard form. And the reason we want standard form is because it's way easier to graph. So keep in mind, standard form is x minus h squared equals 4p y minus k, or y minus k squared equals 4p x minus h. Here are some things you could do to help you on your journey. Isolate your squared term, that's going to be your x or your y. If necessary, get a coefficient of 1. And if necessary, complete the square. That's right, complete the square. Let's start with this equation here. Y equals negative 1/4 x squared plus 3x plus 6. I see that we have an x squared term, so we want to look like this guy right here. To start, let's get our x terms on one side by themselves. Let's start by subtracting 6, giving us y minus 6 equals negative 1/4 x squared plus 3x. Now, we definitely want to get this to a coefficient of 1. So, I'm going to go ahead and clear my fraction, and I can do that by multiplying by negative 4 to both sides of the equation. If I distribute that out, I'm going to get negative 4y plus 24 equals negative 4 times negative 1/4 leaves me with x squared minus 12x. Alright, now that we've got our x terms by themselves, we need to complete the square in order to group this together. So, remember, completing the square, you divide this b term by 2, so that's going to give us negative 6. You square that, that's going to equal 36. And this is what we want to add to both sides. If we do that, we'll get negative 4y plus 24 plus 36 equals x squared minus 12x plus 36. Now, we can complete the square, because if we factor this right side, we'd get x minus 6 times x minus 6, which would be x minus 6 squared. Doing that, we'll get x minus 6 squared on the right, and combining our 24 and 36 here, we'll get negative 4y plus 60. We are almost there. Remember, we want to look like this guy right here, the standard form of a parabola with an x squared term. We have x minus h squared on one side, x minus 6 squared here. On this side, we want 4p parentheses y minus k. So I see that I need to get this y to have a coefficient of 1. So what if we factor out this negative 4? That would give us negative 4 times y minus 15 equals x minus 6 squared, which we can see is in standard form. We just have the x squared term on the right side instead of the left, and the y term on the left instead of the right. But from here, we could find our vertex, we could find our focus, we could find our axis symmetry, directrix, everything we need to do. We've got our standard form. Next step, we've got x squared minus 4y plus 3 equals 7. Again, let's stick to this form because we have the x squared term. First step, get all our x's on one side. So to do that, all we need to do is add 4y and subtract 3 to both sides. That'll leave us with x squared equals 4y plus 4. I put the 4y here rather than at the end because I know eventually I'm going to want my y term at the left position. Alright, next up, it looks like we've got our x squared term by itself. Now we need this right side, 4p y minus k, which means we're going to have to factor out whatever's next to this y to get a coefficient of 1. And it looks like we can just pull a 4 from this right side. That's going to give us x squared equals 4 parentheses y plus 1, and beautiful, we're done. This time we didn't need to complete the square because we already had an x squared term by itself with no additional x's. Again, from here, standard form, very simple to find the vertex, find your focus, and graph this parabola. Alright my friends, we are almost there. Next basket wins. This is our last problem. We've got 3y squared plus 6y plus 15 equals 12x. This time, since we have our y squared term, we're going to try to get the standard form that has its y squared term right up here. To start out, same thing. Let's isolate our y's by subtracting this 15 over. That'll leave us with 3y squared plus 6y equals 12x minus 15. Next, we need a coefficient of 1 here. It looks like we can factor out this 3. That'll leave us with 3 times y squared plus 2y equals 12x minus 15. We need to get that 3 over to the other side, so let's go ahead and just divide both sides by 3. That's going to give us y squared plus 2y, because these 3's cancel out, equals 4x minus 5, because this 3 is going to have to cancel with each of these, right? 12 over 3 is going to be 4x. 15 over 3 is going to be 5, leaving us with y squared plus 2y equals 4x minus 5. Now we're going to have to complete the square just like the first one because we've got a y squared plus 2y. So we'll take half of this 2. That's going to be 1. Square it, also 1, and this is what we're going to add to both sides. Doing that, we'll get all of this right here. Let's go ahead and simplify by turning this into a squared term, y plus 1, leaving us with y plus 1 squared. That's going to equal 4x minus 4. Last thing we need to do is get this coefficient of 1 next to the x. We can factor out a 4, giving us a final standard form of the equation of a parabola, y plus 1 squared equals 4x minus 1. Boom. Victory. Congratulations. Have fun doing these for your homework. I'll see you soon.